This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue learning the halachas of Mayim Achronim and benching. We're middle of Siman Mem Dalit and we pick it up from Sif Hey. Says the Kitzur, if you lo yachal rak kazayis pas, even if one only ate one kazayis of bread, still sarich levarich birchas hamazon, he has to make hey birchas hamazon. Note 26 points out, however, that he has a little bit of an issue that he can't make a al netilas yadayim, because that is only on a kebeya. So that's part of the reason why you're always going to want to eat more than a kazayis. But regarding the etzem birchas hamazon, once you eat it to kazayis, that will be enough. Lo yavarich mu'umad v'lo mahalich. One should not say birchas hamazon standing. One should not say birchas hamazon while walking. Ela miyushav, only while sitting. Even if you're walking around eating in your house, or you standing, or reclining, still, when you say brachas hamazon, you have to sit down. Why? The point is, you want to be able to have kavana when one benches. And as well, one should not be reclining, which is arrogant. Now says the Kitzur over here, throws a line in which the Mushmur does not throw in. Says the Kitzur, you should wear a jacket. Put a hat in your head. To increase yiras shamayim. Now the line that the Mishmur doesn't say, he doesn't say anything about a jacket. He says just the hat. The Kitzur clearly is learning that it's a package deal. Some want to say no, that it's not a din in kavod like Shvanasi, but rather like the Kitzur just said, it's a din in yiras shamayim. And if you're just doing something to increase your yiras shamayim, perhaps even if just a hat might look weird, but it's a vart for yourself to create your own yiras shamayim while benching. Kavana, arouse your kavana, don't do anything else while you are benching. Continue with Sif Zayin, anyone who hears you should say Amen. If you're so saying a bracha or giving a bracha, we continue with Sifchas Avar Visham Milvarach Berchas Hamazon. Someone messed up and he waited too long. Ad Shir equal till the amount of time the food is digested, which is how long. One begins to feel hungry again. There's nothing more one could do. Some say, how long is that shir? The shir equals an hour and a fifth, which is 72 minutes. Yaiser means man said a large meal. There are times you could have a break in the middle. You might sit in the middle of the meal without benching. Why? Because you're having other foods and you're having drinks, and therefore it's not a problem, and you still can bench because you're still eating the whole time. The nachin is not to wait too long. So we're learning over here that you have 72 minutes. We'll just use that number to bench. In as much as the first sheet has said, as long as you're not hungry. Now, note 32 over here pointed out that when you say as long as you're not hungry, it's after a person who ate and he was full. However, if one did not eat that much and he becomes feel hungry right away, then that's not going to be the indication. So many say you could go for the 72 minutes in all cases, and therefore that's going to be the easy number we'll use, and therefore you lost your birchas hamazon. We continue with Siftas Avar. If one transgressed, as we learned, and as this Agdama points out, we said already that you're not supposed to leave your place before bench. Says this if, what happens if you did? Where you are right now, you have a little bit of bread. Note 34 says, even a kazayis, you can eat it there. And you don't have to make a new amoitzi. And this is going to be the classical eitzah. You go to a friend's house, etc., and you realize you didn't bench, so you have a little bit of bread, and then you bench. But now what happens? You don't have any bench. You have to go back to where you were and bench. Note 36 points out that there are times, and as we'll see further, another example, you go bench where you are. However, it's only if you did not have in mind to leave before saying Berachas Hamazon. If you did it b'mizid, then you mamish have to go back. B'murachah kolkach continues the kitzur very far away. Sheyoshach shad yachzol mekami yishash shir equal. It's gonna be 72 minutes. Yivarach makam shusham. So, as a rule of thumb, one could have in mind that if you're in place number 2, you're allowed to bench. Lechatchila would be to have bread. B'diavad would be without the bread. But again, as we're seeing, it's mamish not pashit. And certainly, if you had in mind to leave when you're before benching, is not the right thing to do. But if need be, one could bench in place number 2. We continue with Siv Yod, the additions to benching. Shabbos Shachoba Versh Chodesh Oyamta V'Chol Hamayid Omer Techila Ritzei V'Achel V'Yavoy Shabbos Tadim Mekudesh Yoser Mehem, because Shabbos is number 1, Tadim V'Sheino Tadim, whoever's more common comes first. So Ritzei comes first. Number 2, Umekudesh Yoser has more sanctity. Siv Yidal V'Shashachach Zonu for Gavin is Tabilim Birchas Birchas Hamazon Eloi. Unfortunately, a common reality, he doesn't remember if he benched. So, if he's still full, does Birchas Hamazon deraisa? Then Birchas Hamazon is a deraisa, as we've learned that the deraisa Birchas Hamazon is only v'achalta, v'savata, then ubeirachta. Then if you have a suffix, this would be called suffix de'araisa, and then you should bench again. And note 42 points out, you bench the entire benching. But says Mishnah, let's say you didn't eat and you're not full and you only ate a kazayis, then it's a suffix derabanan, and then one would not bench again. But the Mishnah concludes, note 42 says that what should the Yarish Shemayim do? You should eat again, wash the tilsidayim, say amoitzi, eat a kazayis, and then bench to fulfill the suffix. Someone fell asleep, and you don't remember you left off. So go back to the beginning. A woman does not have to go back, and the reason is, no 44 points out that due to the suffix, if it's daraisa derabanan, a woman would not have to bench again. We continue in note Sif 12, that what happens if you're not sure if he said Ritzei, you're not sure if he said Yalvi Yavai. Says the Kitzur Yomi, not sure, If you forgot them, you have to repeat on Shabbos. If you forgot it, you have to repeat on Yantif. But now let's say you forgot Yalvi Yavai or Ritzei, Shabbos Ritzei, Yantif, Yalvi Yavai. Now there's a way to save the day. If you remember this, the shame in the bracha of Uvenei, if you just said Baruch Atah, say Ritzei al Yalvi Yavai. Varach Uvenei, and then say Uvenei. Avalim Loinis, if you remember Atach Hashem scares a shame, you say Baruch Atah Hashem, then Messiah Mizrach Uvenei Baruch Hashem Amen. Vaymer Sham B'Shabbos. And right then, what should you say? Baruch Atah Hashem L'Kinem El Chilam. Shenas Shabbos L'Mnuch L'Am Yisrael Ba'av Lo Yisrael Bereis Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadosh Shabbos. So now, some might wonder, I never heard of this bracha. Might be because the only time you say this is in this unique scenario that you remember right after Uvenei, before you started the next bracha. And of course, these brachas are in the benchers. And the Yantif, what do you say? Baruch Hashem Ekenim Melech L'Olam Sh'Naseh L'Adam Toimim. Yom Toimim L'Amei Yisrael L'Asad Simchas Chagim Poloni Hazeh Baruch Hashem Mekadosh Yisrael V'Azmanim. And you forgot both. You put the two together. And again, that's only if you remembered at that critical juncture between Ritzei and the next bracha. But says the Kitzur Sifya Gimel, if you don't remember till you remember till you start the bracha afterwards. The next last bracha of benching. Once you said that word Baruch, that's what he baskets, just the word Baruch. Nothing more you can do. You're not allowed to say that bracha anymore. First 2 meals and Shabbos and Yantif, that you got to start again. If you only said the words Baruch Hashem, you say Lamdeni Chulkecha K'dei Shlo Yila Batala. V'achar Chayz the Rosh Baruch Zamaz. Then you go back to the beginning. Aval B'Suda Shlishish. Afilu B'Shabbos Ein Mechuyev Lechol Pas Tavka. It's not a Chiyav to have bread. Of course, it is the Mila to have bread, and it's the right thing to have bread. But some hold, there are Shitas that hold you don't have to. Therefore, Vayshal Shudas, you're not going to repeat. Bentc, Umikol Shkim B'Yantiv. Baruch Zamaz Ein Chayvus Hayom Alav. Then you're not going to go back. However, you remember, even any meal that you made. So again, if you remember, in the middle between Uvenei and the next bracha, you add in the bracha. If you already started the next bracha, then you cannot. And if it's the first two sudas, you repeat. If it's shalosh sudas, you do not. We'll pick it up in Sif Yudalid B'siyata Dishmaya.